Alrighty, hey everybody, my name is Matt, and today I'm going to be showing you some of my favorite chords. These are specific kind of to rock. You can use them in lots of creative ways. I'm going to show you them on acoustic sounds. I'm also going to show you them on distortion sounds. Without further ado, let's get into it. By the way, if you want to get a PDF with all of these chords nicely notated out, you can click the link in the description, put in your name and email, and I'll send it right over. Alright, so the first chord is obviously a classic. It's just the power chord. I'll put examples on screens, and if you're someone who's more advanced, trust me, I'm going to get into some harder stuff. But I got to start here for everybody who just wants to sound cooler at guitar. So it's just let's say G, D, and G, or 3, 5, 5, and you can play a lot of stuff with that. Sounds pretty good, but now there's a simple tweak you can make to that chord. I call it the Add9 chord because the way we look at notes in music is we can look at them with note names, or we can look at them with numbers. So if I switch over to acoustic here and I start playing just a G major scale, so there's 8 notes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now if I play the 9th note, 9, and I play it on top of that power chord, so I'm spreading my my hand position out as 3, 5, and 7 across 3 strings. You can get this really cool, it's kind of like a very tall sound, and I really like to use it to make the environment seem a little bigger, if you will. I mean, here's it on an acoustic setting. All right, now we're going to be building off the chord I just showed you, and I call this the Add9 Add6 chord. You can call it whatever you want. But basically, these are the notes we're going to be playing. Or, so pretty much we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this is technically 10, but that's a minor 6 above. And it's kind of got a sad sound to it. I might be wrong on my chord names, or my note names exactly, but here's the sound. That one's a little trickier to play to get that bar across. My hands have pretty thin fingers. So the other way you can play it is you can play it just like this. And it's kind of got that, it's a really warm sound to it. Combine those two in an example like this. Let's say we go from G to E. All right, so the next chord we got, I call it the Lifesync chord, and I call it the Lifesync chord because I got it from John Petrucci, who noticed it from Alex Lifeson. So basically, we're just going to play an F sharp major chord, and we're going to keep instead of barring all the way across, we're going to keep the top 2 strings just open. And I'm going to show you how you can move this around as well. So here it is on the acoustic setting. And you can take this same chord shape, and you're just keeping those top 2 strings open. So I'm basing on G, F sharp, F, A. You can even do it on B. But my favorite is the F sharp one. All right, so the next one I also got from John Petrucci, and I call it the inverted minor chords. Whenever you've got any kind of chord, you can play it in different, what are called inversions. So that's a A minor chord with no inversion, because I'm just A. But if I play, now that's an A minor chord in first inversion, because I'm basing on the C instead of the A. Or you can invert it again and start on, say, the E. So E, A, C. So with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to play an open E, play another E right here on 7, 9, and then right on the 12th fret. So you'll get this, hey, there's that Add9 chord showing up again. But you can play all this at once. Sounds really dramatic, but now there's another little twist you can do with it where you play 7, 8, and 11 across these three strings. So here's your notes. So you can go between those two and move it around a couple different places. This one doesn't work quite everywhere on the fretboard, but you can move it around a couple different places to get some cool sounds. All right, now these next two are really basic, but I still felt it worthwhile to go over them because it's going to prepare you for the next thing. I'm also going to show you something I call the D chord fix. So pretty much you're just going to bar all the way across, and then you'll play just that power chord. And then with the top three strings, you're going to play 4, 3, 3. So barring across on 4, 6, 6, 5, 3, 3. And you can move that shape around anywhere. So if you're playing a chord progression, and if you want to play a minor chord that you can move all around, you can just lift that middle finger off. So you're playing bar across, so 4, 6, 6, 4, 4, 4. Really easy. All right, so the next chord variations I want to show you are variations on the suspended chord. So a suspended chord is when you say play D, the 4th note and the 5th note of scale. Here that note wants to resolve down to there. So we can create this in two different ways. We can play, say, 7, 5, 5. On the top three strings, or on kind of the lower three strings, you can play something like, say, it's just one more fret up with your pinky. Next up, we have one of my favorites. I call it the Petrucci metropolis chord. So basically what you're going to do is bar all the way across and then go 2 frets up on the middle 2 strings. Sound like this. And you can actually see that that has that suspended shape in there. And the reason I call it the Petrucci suspended chord or metropolis chord because it appears in the song Metropolis by Dream Theater. All right, let's return back to talking about the power chord and some useful tweaks you can do to it. There's one called, I call it the inverted power chord. So basically if we started with, then we've got, say, 5, 7, 7. But if you just drop that middle finger and bar across instead, you get actually some overtones which make the entire guitar sound a lot lower. So even though I'm playing a chord that's actually a fourth higher or a fifth higher, it actually sounds lower because these bottom two. So a useful place is, let's say, In the Presence of Enemies by Dream Theater, we've got. And then we've got to go here. So there's that D you can't get on a 6 string, but if you just bar across with the D and A. That's how that works. Now another cool little simple trick you can do with this is you can take that power chord and you can drop that lower note by 1 fret and you'll get something that suggests movement. So last step is one of my favorite chords. It's something like with, I don't know, some sharp 13 or something. I just remember it by the shape. But basically, you've got almost like a V shape and then a little shape on top. I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to play E, G sharp, D, and then you're just going to go on the B string, a fourth. So it sounds like this all together.